From Chicken and Pickle, this is the UTSA Basketball Coaches Show. The UTSA Basketball Coaches Show, brought to you by UT Health San Antonio, the official healthcare partner of UTSA Athletics. By HEB, here, everything's better. By Chicken and Pickle, home of the UTSA Coaches Shows. By Bud Light, easy to drink, easy to enjoy. Enjoy responsibly. By Credit Human, become a member today. Visit credithuman.com. By North Park Subaru, proud member of the Kalig Auto Group. By Cowboys Air.
All right, here we go, bud.
Official HVAC partner of UTSA Athletics. And by Frostbank. We're from here. Now, live from Chicken and Pickle, here's the voice of the Roadrunners, Andy Everett.
And we are live from Chicken and Pickle. It's the UTSA Basketball Radio Show on this Thursday night. Because of all the schedules and stuff, we had to move until this evening. And coming up at the bottom of the hour, up until 8 o'clock tonight, we'll hear from Austin Claunch. Smurf Millender will be out here as well, but we start the show this evening with the UTSA women, fresh off a 70-68 win last night against Memphis. And from Birmingham, we are joined by Karen Aston, the UTSA women's basketball coach, where they're getting ready to play UAB on Saturday. Good evening, Karen. Nice win last night in Memphis, wasn't it?
Hey, good evening. Yeah, it was. I think any win in conference play is a good win, and in particular on the road.
Take us through that fourth quarter. You were down 11 at one point, and then made a big comeback and finished it off in the final seconds.
It was kind of crazy. I mean, to be honest with you, I thought that with about 4 minutes left, our team, we had the under five timeout, and they were pretty calm. I mean, we were down, and not a whole lot was really going our way, but in the huddle, they were confident. I mean, they had good communication with each other. They talked about how they had time. We talked about how we had time, and then we changed defenses a little bit, and kind of, I guess, got our motors running in a different capacity and turned them over a couple of times. And, of course, we had to make shots to be able to do that, and that was helpful that we made some adjustments offensively. But and then we got a little bit of a break, to be honest with you. And I think sometimes things happen that you look back on and you're like, I don't know how that happened, but it was a good break. And they had a young lady that got an intentional foul late in the game and had the opportunity to shoot some free throws, take the lead, and then take care of the ball from there, and came out with a win. It was pretty crazy. You
mentioned the change of defense. A lot of times that kind of discombobulates other teams, especially when you go from man to zone, because not a lot of people run that. Talk about those defensive changes, those subtle changes that can really change the pace of a game.
Yeah, I think for us, we do a pretty good job of changing defenses, and I probably from a staff perspective will look at it and try to figure out, should we have done it a little bit earlier in the game just to get our motors running, and maybe or just change more often. You always look at situations like that and kind of look internally from a coaching perspective and see if there's something that you could have done to help them. And I just didn't think that we had a lot of pep in our step, really, is for lack of better words. And I didn't think it was from lack of preparation. I thought we had two good practices, but again, as a coach, you look back on it and you're like, okay, did we miss something? Did I not emphasize something well enough? And we'll get ready for them probably a little differently the next time we play them. And then you have to turn the page pretty quick. So we looked at it a little bit this afternoon, and then we'll move on and get to UAB.
Your team, you mentioned that after the last 5-minute timeout in the fourth quarter, your team was calm. And when you've had the success that you've had, and maybe you're not going to win them all in the future in that situation, but at least you have confidence that your team feels
Andy,
comfortable in those situations.
Oh, sorry about that. I lost you for a second.
Talk about your team having the fortitude, if you will, to realize that even when they're in a tough situation like you were with 5 minutes to go in the game, your team still feels confident that they can win games.
Yeah, just so you know, you're cutting in and out, so I'm going to ad-lib a little bit and just say that from my perspective with our team, it's been the enjoyable part about coaching them is that they never panic. They never seem to get too disjointed when things aren't going well. I think that's a sign of maturity and confidence. we've had several situations throughout the year where they've been down or, can't make a shot or whatever, get in foul trouble, those types of things, and they've handled it pretty well, and they've learned to communicate with each other and keep each other calm, and I think that it's really important. I mean, when you're on the road, it's just, nothing's easy, and I think as we get deeper into conference play, it gets harder and harder, and you have to figure out how to just do the tough things, and sometimes it's not pretty, and a lot of people would say, boy, that was an ugly win. Yeah, it probably was an ugly win, but you just have to figure out how to win ugly sometimes. And I think a mature team can do that and not get too down on themselves when things aren't going their way.
Jordan Jenkins continues to win Player of the Week honors, but you're getting contributions from other players, and I think that's something that everyone wants is those balanced scoring attacks, so it's not just one person carrying the load.
Yeah, for sure. I think she's doing what she does well, and I think she's managing how people game plan against her, and I think our team is managing it pretty well. I think that a lot of other people are contributing. I really actually think there's other players that people are keying on just as much as they are her, and we had some balance last night. We had two post players. Idara had a double-double, and Jordan did. And then I thought Sid and Demara both hit some really, really big shots throughout the game. AP gave us a lift. So I think that other people are definitely contributing. And you're not going to win a championship with one player. I think we understand that. And I think we have a little bit better balance and definitely a lot more maturity than we did last year.
All right, Karen Aston joining us from Birmingham, where the Roadrunners will play UAB. We'll talk about that matchup coming up in a bit. Next up, we'll visit with Adara Udo as she's with Karen there in the hotel in Birmingham, and then later on we'll have Austin Claunch and Smurf Millender on when it's the guys segment at the bottom of the hour. It's more of the it's the UTSA basketball radio show, and it's presented by UT Health San Antonio. If you're looking for a new or pre-owned car, look no further than Insira.com. Shop every make and model in one location and get a great low Insira price only at Insira.com. We'll continue with the UTSA basketball radio show on the UTSA Sports Network. or more, Roadrunner fans can score $888. It's the $888 giveaway from Wayne Wright, the official injury attorney of UTSA Athletics. We've already had winners in men's and basketball and men's throughout the year. You can register to win your $888 at goutsa.com/promotions. From Birmingham, where the women are getting ready for UAB on Saturday, Karen Aston rejoins us along with Adara Udo, one of the top players on the UTSA team. Adara, good evening. How are you doing after last night's win?
Hi, I'm doing great. I feel amazing. I feel like it's always great when you come out with a win, especially in the circumstances we were in. So I think we're just ready to reset our minds and get ready for UAB.
Talk about the team's mindset, knowing that whatever adversity you're going through and the way you played this year, you have the confidence to keep on going and pull out games like this.
I just think that our mindset, like Coach said, is just always calm. I think that we've been in situations like that before. We have a lot of senior leadership on our team, and I think that helps me feel calm as well, knowing that there's always coming back from situations like that. So I think we just do a really good job of just trusting each other and trusting that we can make it through anything.
Karen, if you will, talk about Adara's performance this season and the continued progress. I know you were really proud of the progress she made last year, and I'm assuming it's even more so this year.
Is that for me?
Yes. We have a little delay going on here, but yes, go ahead. Did we lose him?
Yeah, was that for me?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, you guys are cutting in and out, but yeah, I'm so pleased, impressed. I don't have enough adjectives for what I think about Adara and just what she brings to the table for our team. I mean, she's growing, and I think some of us, we all have high expectations, and I think sometimes you forget that she's just a sophomore, and the progression for a player. She's on track. I expect that, not only just this year she continues to grow, but then, throughout her career, she'll add stuff to her game. She'll be more sure of herself in certain areas, and I just think that she's evolving as a player the way that you're supposed to in college. She had a great opportunity last year, and she takes full advantage of what I call the windows of opportunity in life, and I love coaching her. I love her motor. I love how competitive she is, and her IQ for the game is really good.
Adara, take us through your basketball career, and I know you're proud of the improvement that you made, but you still have a couple of seasons left and can continue along that path to get even better.
Yeah, so I think that, first of all, just coming here, I had really no idea what my progression would be or where I would even start, and I think that my window of opportunity that I took just opened the door for me to be a rebounder for the team, and just I think I scored a lot of just like back to the basket post moves and scoring off my rebounds. So I think over this last off season and summer, I think that me and the coaching staff worked a lot on adding to my game. I think that I've added my mid-range jumper to the game. It could still get better, but I think that's something that teams kind of have to scout. I think that what I've learned this year is the importance of rebounding, and so I just feel like I've been trying to key in on that as well, and then just finishing around the basket too.
Talk about playing with Jordan, having one of the most dynamic players in the league, how she not only leads the team in scoring and a lot of other categories, but gets other players involved like yourself. Did you miss that one?
I heard the beginning part of it, playing with Jordy, her leading in a bunch of categories, right?
Yeah, talk about playing with her and how fun that is, but she gets everybody else involved too.
I think that, first of all, it's just a blessing to play with somebody like Jordy. I feel like I've learned a lot from her and her game. I think that playing with Jordy, I've kind of got a glimpse of what it really takes to be a caliber of player she is. She works hard every day, and I think that inspires me to work hard too. And I just think that playing with Jordy is fun, and I think that Jordy's a fun person on and off the court. So, yeah.
You guys had only 2 losses in the non-conference season.
I think one thing I don't want to,
go ahead.
Andy, one thing I don't want to miss before we let Adara get out of here is that just what she's attempting to do in the classroom also is just really special. I think that fans out there sometimes don't know, the grind that they're in academically and on the court. I think they just see what they're doing on the court, but she's on track to. She's a pre-nursing major and on track to do some really special things academically.
Adara, talk about that. What got you into wanting to be into the nursing profession?
I think that a big part of that is because of my mom. My mom's a nurse. She's been a nurse for over 20 years now. I feel like it's just been my calling since I can remember. I just have always been interested in the medical field. I only watched medical shows growing up, and I just have a passion for helping people, and I just see myself doing that in the future, and I don't see myself doing anything else.
What was your favorite medical show?
I loved Grey's Anatomy.
I figured that.
During quarantine, I watched.
There's something wrong with someone if they don't like Grey's Anatomy.
I know. I don't watch it very often, but every episode's pretty good. So, all right, Adara, thank you so much for joining us tonight. Best of luck against UAB, and we'll look forward to more great things from you going forward. And we'll come back. We'll come back with Karen in just a minute for her final segment, and then get to Austin here in about 10-15 minutes as well, as we roll on the UTSA Basketball Radio Show on the UTSA Sports Network.
There's something about clear music.
Our military is the official military appreciation sponsor of USAA, and we have 2 stars tonight. We'll hear from Smurf in a little bit. We just heard from Madara Udo. We're getting to know them better during the USAA Stars of the Week segment. Save time after the game by ordering Taco Cabana online at tacocabana.com or on the MyTC loyalty app. Sign up for great rewards and exclusive offers only at Taco Cabana. Karen Aston joining us from Birmingham as UTSA plays Birmingham plays UAB, the Blazers, on Saturday afternoon. Karen, last week at the Wichita State game, Becky Hammond was in attendance watching Jordan play, but great to have her in the building, and I'm sure you got a chance to visit with her. I think we lost the signal again.
Stall.
Yeah, I can hear you now.
All right. Talk about Becky Hammond being in the building on Saturday. That was fun for everyone.
Yeah, I think you asked me to talk about Becky Hammond being at the game.
Yep.
I've known her for quite some time, and Jamie knows her, and just talking back and forth throughout the year. I mean, I went to watch her team play in the playoff game in Vegas, and just love watching her coach and appreciate what she's given to the game, and have told her several times, if you're ever in town, because this is her home base in San Antonio, I've just said, drop by sometime. Love to have you at practice, a game. And, we've obviously talked about some other things, and she just happened to have a window of opportunity, which was fantastic. She gave the team some words of wisdom afterwards that, it's priceless. I can say all I want to say, but when you have someone like her that's lived in so many different aspects of basketball, not just women's basketball, it's you're going to listen, and I thought she was fantastic with our players and just gave them a lot to think about.
I got to know her a little bit when she was with the Stars, and just her presence. There's just something about her in the building that kind of makes everybody feel good.
Yeah, I mean, she's fun to be around, and I think that she's a real one, for sure. She'll tell it like it is, and you appreciate that about people that have experienced all the stuff that she has and can still stay humble and real with you.
Talk about the UAB matchup coming up as you try to stay unbeaten in conference play.
Yeah, they're on a win streak. They went on the road last week and beat both the Florida schools, and they're playing really, really good basketball, and it's just tough on the road. You know how it is, Andy, and you have to have a different mental and physical fortitude to win road games, and especially against a team that's hot like they are. So it'll be a tough game, and we'll approach it, I think, just like we have all the rest of them, and I think they're all tough at this point. So we'll be ready to play, and I'm sure they will be too. I think it should be a good game. Any surprises yet in conference play? Teams that you thought would be better, or teams that you think have exceeded your expectations? I think it's a little bit early, to be honest with you. I think that, we're 1/3 through. We just finished our 6th game, so there's just a lot of basketball left. And I just remember last year, just how many teams were piled up, and it just got down to the nitty-gritty at the very end just for seeding in the tournament, and, 3 people tied for the championship. So I can see all of those scenarios happening again just because of how deep the league is and the parity in the league. I don't think there's a bad team. So I think it's going to be a fun ride, and we'll continue to just take one game at a time. All right, Karen, thanks so much for your time tonight. I know you got a dinner coming up with the team, so enjoy that. We'll look forward to seeing what happens. Yeah, we're going to go eat some good barbecue. And awesome. It's Jordan's birthday, so we'll try to get her some type of dessert. She's a dessert fan, so we'll try to celebrate that and tell everybody back there we miss them tonight, and I'll see them next week. All right. Sounds good. Have a great night. Thank you. All right. That's Karen Aston with us from Birmingham. The women play UAB on Saturday, 12:30 for the airtime on 93.3 The Bull. Fans, how would you like to win a gorgeous diamond ring for your favorite Roadrunner? America's Diamond is going to make that happen with the Love Your Roadrunner promotion. Go to goutsa.com/promotions and register today, and you could be selected to win an America's Diamond ring at the men's home basketball game on February 8th, right before Valentine's Day. We'll come back with Austin Claunch and a little bit later with Smurf Millender as we continue. It's the UTSA Basketball Radio Show on the UTSA Sports Network.
UTSA Athletics. See how UT Health San Antonio's brightest minds are making lives better at WeMakeLivesBetter.org. Austin Claunch joins us as the UTSA men have won 2 in a row. Wichita State this past weekend, and how about that win at Rice? That was pretty fun on Tuesday night.
Man, any road win. It's so hard to win on the road, as you just talked about, Andy.
Scoot that mic up just a little bit there. There we go.
Is that better?
Yep.
That's the third straight game now. We've played well. I mean, we've built some double-digit leads, and we lost one at home against Tulsa. We maintained it pretty well against Wichita. And then at Rice, obviously on the road you get up. We actually got down quick, right? 15-7 or 16-7 or something like that. We get the lead back. We're up at half, and then they come roaring back. It was an awesome atmosphere there. Very well-coached team, and it was great to see our guys respond in that last 8 minutes and figure out how to overcome that adversity and win the game.
That Rice team only won 11 games, I think, last year. They're already at that number for now, so they're a much better and improved team.
Yeah, Coach Lanier obviously does a great job. He's got experience in this league. They really guard and protect the paint. And I thought we did a good job of getting it deep in there to score when we needed to. And then obviously we're really shooting it at a high clip right now, and I think that's because we're sharing the ball. You
got 3 players in double figures. They contributed for about 70% of the 90 points or so. Great to see the ball being shared and everybody executing that you need to.
Yeah, and I even think the guys that weren't in double figures, I mean, Damari makes some loud, important baskets, right? Like transition threes. I think Scoot has such an ability to impact the game with his speed. And again, when he scores, it just always feels like such a big basket. Again, that didn't necessarily translate the other night to a ton of points on paper, but it's coming. I mean, I think, like I said the other day, I think we're one of 2 teams in the league with 5 guys in double figures. So I think that speaks to our depth. And I think most importantly, it speaks to our unselfishness and how we share the ball.
I've talked about Ray Horton a lot. He continues to be in the right place at the right time. I was fortunate to watch Byron Fronin play here for 4 years, and it didn't matter whether he scored 4 points or 30 points. He had an impact in the game, and I think Ray's very similar.
Yeah, 100%. He just seems to find his way around the ball on both sides of it, and when you need someone to get a deflection, dive on a loose ball, when you need somebody to get offensive rebound, put back, he just has such a knack for it, and it's not really one of those things you can teach. It's something you just kind of have, and it's important in recruiting, and it's certainly something we thought we were getting, when we signed Ray. Glad to see it's panned out that way so far.
David Hermes is starting, and you're bringing Joe off the bench. With Mo out with the ankle injury, those guys have really picked up the slack, and I don't know that I've ever seen a college team run better pick-and-roll offense than this one is right now.
We're certainly in a rhythm, both Joe and Dave. It's like having 2 starting 5s. I mean, quite frankly, they're both in such a good rhythm. I think, like you said, I think Joe's coming off the bench, but even playing a little bit more because they're both just in such an incredible rhythm. And then making good decisions to score, to pass. There was a play at the end of the Rice game where I think Joe gets a short pocket, and Ray cuts out of the corner, and Joe's able to make that pass. You don't often see that from guys that are playing at that position. So, really proud of those 2 guys' development and growth throughout the course of the year.
Do you really emphasize that pick-and-roll play with the post players? Is that something that is it just happening, or do you work on it a lot?
Yeah, no, I mean, we certainly work on pick-and-roll offense, and a lot of our things that we do sort of flow into a pick-and-roll somewhere on the floor, which that's normally a good thing when you got Smurf and Primo out there in it and shooters around them. And so, I mean, certainly it's a big part of our offense, and understanding how to attack different coverages is really important.
Since we last talked, we had the Wichita State game on Saturday, and that was another game where you got the lead, maintained the lead, and you talked about in the postgame show that when other teams make a run, and that's going to happen, that you match it offensively.
Yeah, we did a much better job against Wichita and even against Rice than we did against Tulsa in regards to when they scored, grinding offense, taking them late in the clock and being able to score. It's important when you get scored on not to just come down and take a bad shot. That sort of just feeds into the other team's momentum. I thought we've done a really good job of that in these past 2 games. Again, when we get scored on, understanding when we get stops, we really want to push the ball and play fast. But when we get scored on at times, we need to understand style of play, pace of the game. Hey, we need to make sure we grind some offense and get a good shot right here.
I got to tell a funny story, and this involves David Hermes, and I think even to a certain extent Ray. On the way back from Houston, we stopped at Buc-ee's.
Uh-oh.
And David walks in there and goes, "This is the gas station?" And I'm like, no, they just sell gas here. It's kind of interesting to see the foreign players, and I've seen this with previous years, where they go to a Buc-ee's, they go to the Cracker Barrel, and they're like, We don't have this in Europe.
You know, us Texans are just, you know, we're spoiled.
spoiled,
I
aren't
grew
we?
up with it. I don't even think about it anymore. I wouldn't stop anywhere else, right? So it's funny. Yeah, you know, we have a little tradition. You know, when we went on the road, we stop at, whether it's a gas station or somewhere. Anytime it's in Texas, we're going to stop at Buc-ee's, and we go in there and we'll get, you know, whatever they want to eat, you know, drink on the bus, you know, whatever the case may be. And you know, it's hard to win on the road. So, you know, you want your guys to understand it's significant when you do.
I'm wondering how he explains what that is to mom and dad back in Sweden.
I'm going to have to ask him tomorrow. I'm sure he's been talking to a lot of people about it, so I'm curious to know what he thinks.
All right. Well, we'll come back and visit with Smurf Millender and get his thoughts on the season so far. He'll be up in the next segment, and we'll do that as we continue from Chicken and Pickle. It's the UTSA Basketball Radio Show on the UTSA Sports Network. Texas Farm Bureau insurance members can get 2 free tickets to Roadrunners football, basketball, and baseball games when you redeem online. Visit goutsa.com/TFB tickets to learn more and request tickets. Smurf Millinder joins us on the show, and we welcome you to the program tonight. Welcome. How you doing?
What's going on, Andy?
Doing well. Take us. I asked you this earlier, but a lot of people that are listening for the first time do not know the origin of Smurf. Take us through the name.
The name actually came from when I was a baby, man. I was a baby and I had the hat on my head, and then from then on, my people called me Smurf.
And you just stuck with it for your whole life.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty cool. All right, take us through the Rice win. You got another big night, and so did Ray and Primo, and you got a win. Talk about that win on the road.
Yeah, the Rice win was actually fun. I got to play in front of my family members, try to put on a show for them. Ray and Pre actually went out there and played phenomenal the whole game. We went through a little adversity at first in the middle of the game, but we stayed together and came out with the dub.
Austin, talk about having Smurf on the team, what he's meant to this team, and his overall contributions. He does something positive almost every time he's out there.
Yeah, he's he's somebody that, his success starts with his work ethic. He's one of the hardest workers I've ever been around. And so, the success you're always more surprised when his shots don't go in than when they go in, right? When you see somebody that puts as much work in as he does. And so to see him playing the way he's played over the last couple of weeks, not surprising to us at all. We know what he's capable of, even at such a young age. Really exciting, to have someone like that in your program who's a sophomore who is not just a great player this year, but someone that we're counting on from a culture piece and a leadership piece moving forward. So really excited for him, and he's got a really bright future, obviously.
Smurf, I was really impressed with your game on Tuesday. Not only did you play well, and that's kind of expected, but it's hard sometimes to play in front of your friends and family. And you had a bunch of people that hadn't seen you play since high school,
right,
and you still delivered. So they had to be proud of that.
Yeah, I for sure had a little nerve going to that game, but my coaches and my family, they told me just go out there and have fun, play with a chip on my shoulder, and that's what I did.
Talk about your teammates and the ability for this team to gel as quickly as you do. You're all good basketball players, so you're going to figure out some of those things, but you don't know what everybody's tendencies are until you actually get in games.
Right. I just feel like in practice we went through a lot together. Regular season, off season, went through a lot together, and just coach stand on us at all times, telling us just stay together. We just gonna thrill through being with each other.
Austin, are you surprised how quickly 15 new guys, and really 16, because none of them played with Nas last year, how they all come together and figure out what you're trying to do so quickly?
Well, I think there's a lot of programs that are going through that these days. Obviously, I think that's our job as coaches to help these guys understand. We have a lot of really good players. One of them sitting right next to me. One of them was sitting next to me last week, and there'll be somebody else here next week.
Yeah.
We had 3 guys with 20 points the other night. We have 5 guys in double figures, and that's all great. But I think our job is to help them understand, it's the tough plays, it's the plays in the mud, maybe that stuff that's not in the box score that helps your team win games. And I'm really lucky to have a group of guys that are really embracing that and starting to come together, or I shouldn't say starting to come together, but starting to play our best ball and really gel on the court, because they've been gelling off the court. This is a team that's close. They care about each other. So now to see that, turn out wins, that's encouraging, and I know these guys are fired up for Saturday.
Smurf, talk about coming to San Antonio, and you made the transfer here from South Florida last year. What talk about why you came. What impressed you about UTSA?
Just talking to Claunch and the rest of the coaching staff, it was no-brainer, and it was closer to home too. So yeah.
All right, and let's talk about your future. What are you doing in the classroom? What do you want to be someday besides playing basketball?
I want to be a businessman one day. That's what I plan to be.
Talk about that interest. Well, where did that come from, and what kind of business maybe?
Just like maybe owning multiple businesses in the future, like something like that.
Entrepreneurial?
Yeah, entrepreneur.
All right, that sounds good. Let's talk about you got Primo as one of the top scorers in the nation on one side of you. You guys are kind of interchangeable at the point guard. We talked on the post game the other night about how well Ray's playing. Just talk about how good your teammates are and complimenting one another.
Yeah, having Pre on the court with me, it's a plus. Like, if he's getting his, he's gonna get everyone else involved too. And then Ray just a dog. You gotta have him on. You gotta have someone like that on your team to play at the highest level to win.
the unselfishness of this team is I've seen a lot in the way that you guys play, and I've talked about Primo with this last week. He could have scored 50 against Southwest Adventist when you had that last game, but he was setting up everybody else so that everybody shared the wealth. And that he only had 18, so you would think a lot of players are just thinking about getting as close to that scoring lead that he has in the nation, but he's not that way.
Yeah, that's just the unselfish trait that he has in him. He just all about winning, and I see it in him.
So talk about Smurf, what other things he does for you on the court. Obviously, he can score, and he's got a great three-point shot, but I see things where he's really getting talking to guys and getting people involved in a number of ways.
No, I'm glad you brought that up because I actually even clipped some stuff like that today from the Rice game. Obviously, we know what he's capable of doing, shooting, being an offensive player, handling it, making passes. Defensively, he's a pit bull on the ball. He can really guard, but where I'm really proud and continue to see growth is him vocally and as a leader. And sometimes that's not hard, or sometimes that's hard as a younger player playing with a lot of older guys. But his work ethic, it demands respect. And these older guys do respect him. They want him out there. And he's kind of like their little brother out there that they love to have. But at the same time, you saw him against Rice, talking to Dave when Dave would make a mistake or picking guys up. And vice versa. They do the same thing to him. So, again, I'm really proud of how this team is not just playing, but handling adversity and picking each other up and continuing to build that mental toughness.
Smurf, where'd you learn those leadership skills?
My pops. I get everything from my pops, man. He's phenomenal dad. He taught me everything I know.
What did he instill in you? What were some of the, lessons or traits? Or
lessons. I done been through a lot. He done been through a lot. So everything that I know, he taught me.
All right. And what do you think of you got North Texas coming to town? What are your thoughts on playing the Mean Green Saturday?
I mean, they put their jerseys on like we do, so it's gonna be a dogfight.
Awesome. Thanks so much for being a part of the show tonight. All the success to you as we move forward, and we'll look forward to Saturday's game.
Yep.
All right. That's Smurf Millender with us out here at Chicken and Pickle. Speaking of Chicken and Pickle, the weekly basketball radio show is out here each week. We'll be back again next Thursday and have that one. It's the UTSA Basketball Radio Show, and it's presented by UT Health San Antonio, UTSA Boulevard, and Vance Jackson. One more segment to go with Austin next. It's the radio show on the UTSA Sports Network. Going to count for more than a point for every free throw UTSA men's and women's basketball teams score at home. Haven for Hope for shelter for the homeless will receive a donation thanks to North Park Subaru. It's North Park Subaru's charity stripe benefiting Haven for Hope. You got North Texas coming to the Convo, and they are one of the slowest teams in the country. So how do you look at this matchup coming up Saturday?
Well, they're extremely tough. I mean, they're a really good program. I have a ton of respect for Ross and what they've built there over the last 6 or 7 years. It's going to be a physical, grinded out kind of style. Of course, we like to get up and down a little bit more, but at the same time, if you really look at our games, we've sort of slowed our pace a little bit too. But they really defend. They make things really hard. From 35 feet and in, I mean, they're going to be active. And then on the other end, we've got to get on the glass and make sure we're defensive rebounding and getting the shooters. They're shooting it at a really high clip. So it's going to be a tough game. We're going to have to really play well. We're going to have to be focused on the scout. And at the end of the day, there's going to be some loose balls that we got to come up with.
I remember you mentioned after the game, you talked about it's not going to be about the offense and the defense. It's going to be about the little things, the things that happen away from the basket, the setting the hard screens, getting the loose balls, the 50-50 balls, all that.
It often is, and stuff that doesn't come off and come up in the box score. And I think when you watch North Texas, I mean, they thrive on that. I mean, they're one of the hardest playing teams you're going to see. Of course, we pride ourselves on that as well. And certainly, most importantly, protecting home. We're excited for the environment. It was awesome. The Wichita game was awesome. The environment was great, played a huge factor in the game. We're going to need that again on Saturday. So if you don't have anything going on at 3 p.m., man, I encourage you to come watch this team. They're fun to watch, and we're going to play a style that you guys can get behind.
Do you try to speed up a team? And if you're trying to, is that hard to do sometimes when they play that slow?
Yeah, I mean, listen, I think we're focused on what we can do. And yeah, certainly, I mean, we do want to do some things. I don't like to say speed them up. I mean, they sometimes you speed up a team and that just helps them score more. But, I think what we do want to do, we want to disrupt, anyone. I think we're second in the league right now in forced turnovers. And, on the other side of it, we're not turning it over. So that's been a big strength of ours. We certainly need to win the turnover battle on Saturday. And just make them uncomfortable, whether that's speeding them up in the full court or making things tough in the half court. We just can't let them be on schedule, for 40 minutes. If you do that, you're going to be in trouble.
You're one of the best free throw shooting teams in the country. Do you want to try to get to the line more often? Is that a point of emphasis, or you just take what you can get?
Yeah, I think it always is a point of emphasis to attack the basket. I also think we're making really good decisions when we get there, which is why we're shooting such a high percentage from three. I think sometimes we're drawing a lot of help at the rim. And instead of trying to maybe force a 50-50 call, on a referee, we're spraying it out and finding wide open threes. And we've got great shooters. I knew early on, we weren't shooting the percentage we need to. But I felt like just over time we'd start to get into a rhythm. Now, you're not going to count on 50% from three every game. Our defense has got to really come around. But, yeah, certainly, being whatever we are, I think 82% as a team from the line.
I think third or fourth in the nation.
Yeah, I think we're second right now in the country at free throw percentage. So that's obviously really important when it comes to close games.
Bob Jai got some minutes against Rice. You decided to take the red shirt off him when we were at Troy. He's gotten some minutes here and there. Talk about his progress and what you see in him.
Yeah, listen, he's going to continue to get minutes. His toughness and his versatility defensively, can really guard any position. Offensively, he's a bit of a connector. He's not a guy that's going to wear it out from three right now this early in his career, but he has such good basketball IQ, to pass, and he has feel. He's a good offensive rebounder. He has a knack for the ball. A baby Ray Horton a little bit, if you will, in terms of just his ability to fill up the stat sheet or just do different things on the floor. So that's what we need. We need more guys like that, and he's somebody that is, jumped in and like you said, thought we were going to redshirt him, and now he's somebody that we're counting on to beat one of the best teams in the league on Saturday.
The AAC is super competitive. UAB goes to South Florida and wins last night, which is a hard place to play, and Memphis is having its issues right now at Temple, so there are no easy games in this league.
No, none. I mean, it's hard to win on the road. It's hard to win. I mean, I tell people all the time, winning one conference game is hard. The amount of work and preparation that goes into it, and everyone in this league can beat anyone. And so if you come into a game and you're not focused solely on our team being up after 40 minutes, it's going to be hard to win. And I think our team over these last week and a half, 3 games, even the Tulsa game, we came up short, but obviously played well in a lot of areas. We love where we're at. And now we get to test ourselves against one of the best programs in the league.
All right, thanks so much for the night out here. We'll do it again next week, and we'll look forward to North Texas on Saturday.
Yes, sir. Birds up.
All right, that's Austin Claunch with us. The women play on 93.3 KRPT. They'll be on the air at 12:30 from Birmingham. Neil Raphael will have the call for that. And thanks to Neil for setting us up today with his equipment in Birmingham to get Karen and Adara on, as he got the hotel to give us an internet feed so we could get that done. The men's game is at 2:30 against North Texas, and Tim Carter joins me for that from the Convocation Center. Tickets are available 458 UTSA and online at goutsa.com. Michael Bartlett's the producer of this show this evening. We will see you on Saturday in the Convo starting at 2:30. Have a great evening, everyone. It's the UTSA Basketball Radio Show on the UTSA Sports Network.